So when you need a friend, just yell, hey Jasmine Danielle.
Hey beautiful child of God, it's Jasmine and welcome to my channel, Hey Jasmine Danielle. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, I am doing a 6-month update about post-grad life after college. It absolutely feels weird because it felt like not too long ago I made my first little update about post-grad life. If you haven't checked out that video, you can check it out above in the little bubble. That video was all about how I was feeling a month or two after graduating. Now it's been 6 months, half a year. It has flown by, and I'm really doing this video for myself so I can look back at it and see where I was, and then from the future I can see how far I have come. I also wanted to create this video in order to give you some guidance if you are a senior in college right now, or you will be soon, or you're navigating post-grad life like me. It's a lot. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot that no one really tells you about. So as I walk through it, I want to kind of help you get through it as well, in whatever capacity that I'm able to. How this video is going to work today is I'm going to answer some of the questions that I asked you around my Instagram and YouTube, and then at the very last part of the video I will share with you 6 things that I have learned in the past 6 months or so of navigating adulthood and life after college. So let's get into it. So I'm first going to start off with questions from Instagram. First question that I got is it scary applying for jobs and moving into the workforce? It is definitely nerve-wracking for sure, because I'm not the kind of person who likes to sell myself. It's very weird. You have to present yourself in the best light on paper in hopes that somebody will be impressed by what you've done over the years enough to ask you to come in for an interview, whether that's virtual or actually in person. I'm the kind of person where I'd rather show you what I can do versus tell you, because people can lie on paper, but if you see how I am in action, that works. But the thing is, you're competing with other people, and I just don't like feeling like I have to fight my way to something. I'm fine with earning my way through, but it's just, you're trying to grab people's attention and tell them how special you are, and it's a lot to work through. And you have to work through rejection, because you have to know that every job that you apply for you will not get, so you have to deal with rejection in hopes of acceptance. And for me, it was very overwhelming because I didn't really have a clear understanding, and I still don't fully have a clear understanding of what I want to achieve career-wise. I have ideas, but I don't have a clear focus. So because of that lack of clear focus, I didn't really know what exactly kind of job I wanted to apply for. So I kind of applied for several things, looked at several different types of companies. I would definitely say it's nerve-wracking, and I would highly recommend speaking to somebody about it. I spoke to it with my mentor. I spoke about it with my academic advisor to give some guidance in terms of how can I apply for a job well, how can I position myself well on my resume, how can I prepare for interviewing, how can I prepare for just the adult world, and because there's a lot that we're not fully prepared for. And I will say, for me, my situation was unique because the job I have now, I work at a podcasting company. I didn't have to interview. I essentially had to submit in an assignment, and then based on my work with my assignment and my availability, I ended up being an intern, which now turned into like a paid job. Long story short, that was a very long explanation. Yes, it is nerve-wracking, but it is doable. Make sure that you have people around you to keep you accountable, stay organized, keep a list of all the job positions that you're interested in looking for, including the deadline for applying, all the qualifications you need, what you need to send in to keep you organized, and just take your time with it. Another person asked, how has it been going so far? Which I really appreciate it. I definitely feel like I'm in a better place now than I was when I first filmed that video and when I first graduated from college. It's just such a whirlwind going from, 1 week you're taking finals and preparing for graduation, the next week you're graduating, and the week afterwards and then that weekend, I was moving out. So I had literally took my finals, graduated, moved out, came back home, and then it's kind of like it's over, it's done, and now you're trying to, for me personally, I was preparing for my internship in hopes that it would lead to a job afterwards, which there was no guarantee. So there was a lot of moving parts happening very quickly, a lot of transition, and I am not good at processing things when things are happening really fast. I just push it to the side until it becomes a problem, and it became a problem. And I just remember being sad in some moments because I was mourning the loss of just a former version of myself and my community and my friends. But now, 6 months later, I am in a better place. I'm enjoying my job. I'm actually good at it, which is really good. It's something I don't tell myself a lot. It's like I'm actually good at what I'm doing. So I'm doing good at my job. I'm getting along with my coworkers. I'm at home saving up money for my own place, hopefully next year. I'm growing in my faith. I do miss having easy access to my friends. So trying to maintain those friendships have been a little difficult because everyone's so busy, I'm busy, and we're trying to, keep in touch, but it's not the same over a phone versus in person. But overall, I'm in a much better place, which is good. Another question I got is, do you plan working with that company for long? So like I said, I work for a podcasting company. I'm actually not an employee. I am a contractor, or I'm a freelancer, so I work for myself, and the company hires me to do work for them full time. For me, I have a track record where I'm not a hopper per se, and not saying anything's wrong with those who hop from job to job. I just feel like I've been very blessed in that the jobs I've had in the past. I used to work in an escape room. I did that for 3 years in high school and early college, and I worked as an RA for 3 years. I worked as a camp counselor for about a summer and a half. So most of my jobs, I've stayed there for a year to 3 years. So I'm predicting the same type of thing for this company right now. I will definitely stay for a year because I really want to have a year underneath my belt. That will make me more competitive if I choose to leave the company and go somewhere else. But there's definitely a lot more that I want to grow and learn about. If I had to predict, I would probably say I can see myself spending at least like 2 years at the company just to kind of get my footing, and I'm hoping by age 24 I will be more clear on what I want to pursue as a career. We'll see. This will be interesting to look back at in the 2 years to see if I'm still at the company or if I'm in a different place. Another question I got is, what is the biggest lesson you have learned so far? That's a good question. I would say that I'm learning a lot right now. But one thing is that I realize I've set a lot of expectations for myself, and sometimes I'm not the kindest to myself because I'm not reaching those expectations that I've set. I set the bar pretty high for myself. I've always had. That's why I've always been a hardworking student in school. I've always tried to get A's in classes. Honestly, B's were not acceptable to me, but I still, when I got them, I didn't beat myself up over it, or try not to. But for me, when I was younger, I assumed that when I was 22, I'd be in a different position. I would look different. I would feel different. I would be in a different place in life than what I feel and how I look and where I am right now. So I have to learn to be more kind to myself and realize that I didn't know what was going to happen several years from being 17. I just try to be more kind to myself and appreciate the woman that I'm becoming versus beating myself up internally, I guess, being critical of myself because I'm not showing up as the way I see myself in my head, this idealized version of myself versus the realistic version of myself. So I'm trying to really appreciate who I am right now and not feel like less of a woman or less of an adult because of certain things that I have and do not have, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to be more realistic with my goal setting because I think it's great to set goals, to have something to work towards, but not to set unhealthy expectations on myself because I'm not where I thought I would be based on what I thought life would be like at age 17. No one could predict that there would be a global pandemic, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to give myself more grace and appreciate who I am and how I look, and not base my beauty or my self-esteem or confidence or anything like that off of other people or off of what society says you're supposed to look like or be at. Like at 22, we see so many people accomplishing things at a young age, and it feels like I have to do the same thing, but it's like, no, you don't have to do those type of things in order to be successful, whatever that means to you. And the last question from Instagram is, how are you coping with change? I like this question because I don't think everyone's ever asked me about the idea of coping with change. I will say what I mentioned before is change is hard for me. I am a routine-based person. I like things to be nice and neat and ordered. I like to know what to expect, which is hard because you never know what to expect in life. But coming from the school system, everything was pretty much set in stone. You knew who your teacher was the summer before you went to class in elementary school. Once you passed 3rd grade, you would go to 4th grade to 5th grade, 5th grade to middle school, and so on. So everything was pretty much set in stone. I just had to follow it. So coming from that type of background and mentality and structure to now being an adult and having all that structure and responsibility more of my hands, it was a big transition. But now at my job and the flexibility and the freedom I have to work when I want to or when I can, etc., etc., it's been harder for me to keep myself accountable, provide stability, create routines that makes me perform the best that I can. So I would say in the beginning I cried a lot, but over time I started to accept where I was. I think in the beginning I was just like, I can't believe I'm home, I'm not in college, I can't believe I'm an adult, and all these different things. But now I feel like I've accepted. So In the beginning, I definitely was in denial, but now I'm in acceptance, and I'm trying to embrace where I am in life. So that was Instagram questions. I do have a few YouTube questions from the community. So the first question was, after you got out, did you feel empty? Meaning in college, you have so many deadlines and things to keep you busy. And I thought this question was really interesting, especially the use of the word empty. At first, I was like, empty? I don't feel empty, but seeing that you're meaning like, you know, in college, for me personally, I was heavily involved in college. I was a resident assistant, so I lived where I worked in the dorms. I was involved in several different organizations. I was babysitting on the weekends sometimes. I went to church, had homework, so I was very much involved. And then at the end of it, I was trying to take care of myself and spend time with my friends. Like, there was so much going on in college. I was doing a lot. Like, now that I'm not in college anymore, I was like, girl, your capacity was up here. I wouldn't say empty, but I definitely struggle with the concept of free time. It was something that I craved so much in college and wanted, but then now that I have it, I don't know how to spend it. Like, I'm so used to studying and I'm so used to my time being taken away by things that now that I have gotten it back, it's like, how do I use it? I remember telling my mom the first month or so, like, what do I do? I have nothing to do on the weekends, which is a blessing in and of itself, don't like, get me wrong, but it's like, now how would I use my free time? And so I'm trying to fill up my free time with things, not just YouTube work and social media stuff, but, you know, finding hobbies. You know, I want to take a pottery class one day, I want to take a cooking class, you know, maybe go into a coffee shop, all these type of things. So I'm trying to figure out how to fill myself up again with things that are for me and not things I have to do for somebody else. So I wouldn't say I feel empty, but I definitely am learning how to take care of myself better and how to do things that are fulfilling. And last question is, what was the best memory of college from your freshman year to your final year? If anything, what has college taught you? I have so many great memories from college. I'm trying to think. There's no best memory, but I think in general, any time I spent with my friends, it was a lot of fun. I remember our freshman year, we went to a classroom on like a Friday evening or something like that, and someone went on Netflix or something, or Hulu, and pulled up a movie, and we just sat in the classroom. It was open, by the way. The classroom was open. We just sat in the classroom, we brought snacks, we just watched a movie together in the front row, and it was just so much fun. Like, we didn't have to do anything crazy. We just sat and watched a movie together. There's events happening around campus that we went to. I think just any time I spent with friends is like my best memories, because I am a people person, even though I'm more introverted than I am extroverted, but I love when I get to spend time with people who I can be my goofy, silly self with. And I know you're probably like, goofy, silly, what? But I can be fun. That was fun. And then there's two parts to this. What has college taught you? College, again, has taught a lot. So I have a lot of memories and I have a lot of lessons. Let's see. One thing I will say that college has taught me is the value of really exploring your options. So in college, I actually joined a Bible group for the first time, which I've never done before. I got a chance to, you know, join different clubs. I've never been a part of a Black Student Association. That was not a thing in high school. So being a part of that in college and being around more Black people was really it was a great experience. It was good. I needed it. And, you know, getting a chance to explore Nashville the little bit that I did, and meet different people from different parts of the country and even just parts of the world. There are international students I got a chance to know. It's just different, because high school you go to school with people who are around in your area, but college you get to meet people from all walks of life. Alright, so those are the questions. The last part of the video, like I promised, is that I want to share with you a couple of lessons that I've taken away from this 6-month update. So the first thing that I have is take your time to process. So I mentioned it briefly in the video that it took me a while to cope with the change of college, of no longer being a student and becoming a working adult. For me, I move on to things pretty quickly, and I never take the time to sit down and really be in my feelings. I'm really good at asking other people how they are, but I'm not good at asking myself, how am I doing? How has this week been? How am I feeling? And why am I feeling this way? And I think that's a really powerful thing, if you can really be reflective and understand how you feel emotionally, because you're not gonna always feel happy all the time. So when you don't feel happy, or even when you do feel happy, like, understand what's bringing you joy, and when you're not feeling happy, or when you're feeling down or depressed or sad, what is triggering those feelings. So the second thing is that you will lose pieces of yourself or parts of yourself, but then you also learn about parts of yourself. So when I say lose, I realized after graduating that I had put a lot of my identity in being a student and being an RA and being a babysitter and all the things that I did versus like who I am as a person. And so when all those things are stripped away from me naturally after graduating, I was like, okay, who am I? All I've known is studying. All I've known is taking care of people. All I've known is trying to get good grades. Who am I now that I'm no longer a student? Who am I now that I'm no longer a babysitter? Who am I now that I'm no longer a resident assistant? And that was hard because that's part of the reason why I cried a lot, because I was like, who's this girl I'm looking back in the mirror? Because I had changed so much, you know, in 4 years, you changed a lot. And that's real talk, you know. But I also realized in this time of life, I need to learn more about myself. So yes, I'm losing parts of myself, but then they're being replaced by areas of myself that I didn't know existed, or giftings that I didn't know I had, or interests that I didn't know I had either. So it's weird. You lose but you gain at the same time. So that's something I've been navigating too. And yeah. Number 3, this is a big one for me, but living at home doesn't make you any less of an adult. So I had this is part of the reason why I'm trying to set healthier, realistic expectations. Granted, with everything that's been going on in the past year, a lot of people have moved back home to live with their parents or roommates to save money because money's tight right now. But I always assumed, even before I graduated college, that I would be living in an apartment pretty early on after graduation, and I just didn't realize that realistically that wasn't going to be the case. I thought I'd be at home for the summer and then be in my own place by this point, but I'm not. And so a lot of my frustration has been like, I don't feel like an adult because I'm not living in my own place and paying bills. I'm realizing that adulthood is not limited to you living independently of your parents. Adulthood is mainly a state of mind, how you approach living life, how you approach friendships, how you approach managing your money, how you approach, you know, your work life. So I'm realizing now that I am an adult, even if I don't feel like it. And you know, I am grateful that I have the ability to live at home in a home environment that's not toxic, and I'm grateful to be able to have a chance to ease into adulthood. So when the time comes, when I save up enough money to get my own place, that I can have a peace of mind knowing that I can afford this apartment, that I'm not struggling, and that I have, you know, a support system behind me. So, number 4 is to explore new hobbies. So I have not done that yet. I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to get into cooking and baking more, so we'll see how that goes. But also, like I said, I want to take time because my weekends are open. So I want to take time to spend time with my friends, but I also want to take time to explore new interests. So I want to take a pottery class. I want to take a cooking class. I want to, you know, maybe start working out and exercising more frequently. Maybe I'll go to some type of festival or try a new restaurant on the weekends. Whatever it is, I think this free time is just a wonderful opportunity to explore and learn more about myself. That way, you know, when I meet new people, I can have a full, vibrant story to who I am and what I do. Number 5, you will need to build new habits and routines. So that's something that's kind of been hard for me. I kind of beat myself up on it too, that I honestly do snooze a lot more than I want to in the mornings. It's harder to get out of bed now that it's colder outside, and at night I have a hard time putting my phone down or my computer down. So I'm watching Netflix or YouTube, or I'm scrolling on social media late into the night instead of reading a book or journaling, or just shutting off my technology at a certain point in the night, and it's affecting my quality of sleep, which makes it harder for me to get up in the morning, makes it harder for me to stay focused during the workday. So I'm really trying to realize that, you know, what worked in one season will no longer work now in this new season. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, how do I work best now that I'm a freelancer? What's the best way for me to start my mornings? What's the best way to wind down and end my evenings? So that has been a part of the transition period as well. And your morning and nighttime routine does not have to look like the type of morning routine or nighttime routine that you see on YouTube or Instagram, okay? Do what's best for you. And lastly, make a room for new things by decluttering. So something that I've been doing lately is slowly cleaning out areas in my room. So my closet, my bathroom, actually this area right here is pretty messy because I just cleaned out my closet recently. But it's been really nice going through. I feel like when I declutter my physical space, especially because I've accumulated a lot of things over the years. I've been in this house for over a decade, so I've been through a lot of different developmental milestones and seasons of my life in this house. So getting rid of stuff that I had from elementary school that I no longer, you know, need, and making room for new stuff, and just decluttering has been great for not only my physical space but my mental space as well. I feel like getting rid of those stuff is making room for new growth as well in my life. I'm grateful to say I'm able to sit before you in a better headspace regarding adulting and post-grad life. I definitely have a lot more to grow and learn in, and I'm looking forward to the 1 year update to see how far I've grown from this moment and from the moment that I graduated college. If you're somebody who's navigating life after college like me, let me know down below what is something that you've been learning lately. And if you are in college currently, either you're a senior, junior, or maybe freshman or sophomore, let me know kind of how you're feeling about college right now. If you're feeling good about where you are, if you're feeling nervous, and I would love to encourage you down below in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a nice little thumbs up, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel with the subscribe button down below so you can officially join the community, which is the Hey Fam. And while you're down there, don't forget to ring the bell too so you get notified exactly when I upload new videos, which is once a week. And that is all I have for you. I will see you in the next video. Bye!